I don't recall giving Haley Atwell consent to I fuck me whenever she looks at the camera, but boy do I enjoy it. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, supposedly released this past weekend in 2025, and is directed by Christopher McQuarrie, who's also behind such films like Jack Reacher, Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation, Mission Impossible: Fallout, and Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, give or take the part 1. And of course it wouldn't be a Mission Impossible film without it starring Tom Cruise trying to kill himself again, Haley Atwell, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Henry Czerny, and Angela Bassett. The digital cyber terrorist known as the Entity has been infiltrating every electronic device in the world, and the only way to stop it from launching all of the nuclear weapons in the world and starting World War III is for Ethan Hunt and his team once again to pull off the impossible and find a way to shut it down. But of course, in order for Ethan Hunt to do so, he needs to overcome several obstacles that may seem impossible up front, but he somehow manages to find a way to get through it. And that's been the selling point of this franchise ever since Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol back in 2014, when Tom Cruise is scaling the side of the tallest building in the world, and all of a sudden all of us, yeah, I want to go to the theater to see if Tom Cruise makes it out alive, and I also want to be pushing and putting all the pressure on Tom Cruise to up the ante for the next Mission Impossible film and the next one, because we're all sick freaks when we go to see these movies. We love watching this guy put himself in these predicaments that he doesn't have to. He's 62 years old and he's still doing this stuff. Tom, you don't have to do it. Are your stunts magnificent? Are they amazing? And is it incredible that you're doing this in your 60s still and you're making it look easy? Yeah, absolutely. But please, take it easy on yourself. Supposedly this is the last Mission Impossible film, so, don't retire, but take those roles in movies where you don't have to do all of this stuff to where you could possibly die. Or is it the final Mission Impossible film? But ever since Ghost Protocol, every single Mission Impossible film has just been getting better and better and better, apart from the last entry in 7, which is still a damn good film and has great action in it. I did feel it was a step back, though, from the amazingness that we got with Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and Fallout. Mainly, though, that was a part 1. It said it on the poster that this is part 1, and then this was supposed to be Dead Reckoning part 2, but then they changed it. Smart move, in my opinion. They changed it to The Final Reckoning to make you think that this is going to be the last time. Hollywood, the film industry is a weird thing, and when you run out of money, you tend to unretire yourself, and you tend to do another sequel. But if this is not the last time, and we get 5 more Mission Impossible films, if we get that, I would be happy. Because this movie, once again, just showcases tremendous action and tremendous stunt work. I think next year is the first time that the Oscars are going to be giving out a stunt choreography Oscar, or whatever they're calling it. Clearly, this film is going to be the favorite to win that next year. And these stunts, these missions, all of these crazy things that this team, Tom Cruise, put themselves in, it's incredible to see on screen. There are moments when you're holding your breath. There are moments when you're holding the armrest on your chair because you're like, how are you going to get out of this alive? Granted, I'm not sure how smart it was to spoil the big stunt in this, which is where you have one of the biplanes and he's hanging off and he's being thrown around without a parachute. I mean, in the film, he doesn't have a parachute, but that's the climax of the movie, and there are other missions that he has to overcome along the way, so it's a bit of a spoiler, and I was able to kind of take myself out just a little bit in those other stunts that he does, especially when he's in the submarine. He's trying to get the drive that he needs to trap the Entity. Whenever you do something underwater, I'm holding my breath, which is what you're supposed to do when you do something underwater like that. But like I said, the action in here is absolutely incredible. I think the story itself is just a little hindered because it's all the resolution to what we got in the setup in part 1. And the whole first hour, this film has been criticized a lot with it being released, that the first hour has a lot of exposition. They have a lot of explaining the previous things that have happened in the previous Mission Impossible films, things that you thought were just like one-offs or one-time things, but everything that has happened in the previous Mission Impossible films, you learn that they all lead to this film. Every single thing, every mission that he's completed, every person that he's come in contact with lead to the climax of this movie. And it's actually brilliant how they tie and weave everything together here. And as someone that has been watching Mission Impossible ever since 1996, like I would watch the VHS of the original movie over and over and over again. I thought it was so cool. Personally, it is nice to have these flashback sequences, or someone's like talking to Hunt and we get flashes of this character from the first movie, or this mission from the first movie that, you know, it's been almost 30 years. It's kind of nice having a brief little clip to remind you, oh yeah, that's what happened in that movie. Or yeah, that character that we haven't seen in almost 30 years. I remember him. Personally, I enjoy it. I can understand why someone out there going into this movie is like, oh, it's just all flashbacks in the first hour. It's annoying. I totally understand that, but as a Mission Impossible fan myself, I appreciated it. And this movie doesn't really have much of the humor that we've seen in previous Mission Impossible entries. Even when we get to the serious missions and the serious situations, this movie, and actually in Dead Reckoning Part 1, actually, there wasn't a lot of humor in this story. This is very serious because we are dealing with end-of-the-world stuff. And you've seen it before in spy films and in superhero films when they're always talking about the end of the world or the end of the universe. Here, I really felt it. I felt like, okay, this is the ending. This could possibly end the world as we know it. And I appreciate that. I appreciate feeling the stakes. It makes this film that much more impactful when we get to that climax. Though I will say the villain, just like in Part 1, Dead Reckoning Part 1, Gabriel, he is back here again, and I'm not really enjoying him as a villain. He always has this smirk and acts like he knows exactly what's going on, even though he totally, completely fails a couple of his missions. But he gets a little James Bond villain-esque in this film in the climax, where he's overly explaining his plan and what he's done to ensure his survival. I bet you're wondering how I'm gonna make it out of here. Well, I brought an airplane, and just to be sure, I brought 2 aeroplanes. Why do you feel that you need to tell us that? I know the audience needs to know. That way we know that Tom Cruise has a way of getting on the plane and taking you down. But if this was a real-life situation, like, why would you feel the need to say, like, oh yes, I've been here the entire time waiting for you, and I've brought 2 planes because it was so cool to have one biplane. I wanted to have 2 of them, because they just look cool. Yeah, not the best villain, especially when we get to, like, the human villain. But this entity thing, it's actually kind of cool. It's kind of menacing. In the end, I think the final reckoning would be a great final chapter in this Mission Impossible franchise. I feel like this is a great way to kind of soar off into the sunset. But is this the end for real? I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 5 years we hear rumors that there is a script out there for Mission Impossible 9, and then Tom Cruise gets a little tingle in his lower region, and like, yes, I need to try to kill myself again. I'm gonna give Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I like it a lot.
So guys, have you seen Mission Impossible 8? What did you think about it? What is your ranking of all the Mission Impossible films that have been released? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you know the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.